Okay, folks, I'd like to welcome you to another post-game conversation where you get to hear directly from Tribe football alums. For this interview, we get to hear from Mr. Quincey September. How you doing, Quincy?
Doing well, Dante. How are you? It's a pleasure.
I'm doing well. It was really cool to catch up with you, man, especially to know you're so close. And just to learn a little bit more about you. So, like I told you before we started recording, it's exciting to have you on. So let's get right to it.
Good to be here.
Okay. Well, let tell everybody, what position you played, what year you graduated, and what was your major.
So I graduated in 2013, majored in economics, and sorry, I graduated 2014 actually. I was supposed to graduate 2013, but redshirted 2014. Um, Economics major and quite a few a few positions. I'd say the one I played the most was outside linebacker, but had a stint as a DB, had a stint with my hand in the dirt on the line too, rushing. Um, but yeah, linebacker, outside linebacker.
Awesome. Yeah, I had most of my time was my hand in the dirt. I had a small stint standing up, and I had my hand in the dirt so long that standing up was so uncomfortable for me. So,
I'll go the other way around for me.
right, it sounds like you the
Yeah,
other way
I
around.
got pushed around.
Yeah, and I probably wasn't as nimble and as athletic as you are. Um, so you have a really interesting journey to William and Mary, and I'd love for you to share it. Most people have everybody has a good story, but yours starts outside the country. Tell us about your journey to William and Mary, Quincy.
For sure. So yeah, my journey did start outside of the country. I came to America as a skinny teenager at the age of 15. Um, and I had hoop dreams, as most people who come to America do. I thought I was nice at basketball. That was initially what brought me here. So I played that in high school and hadn't done like any organized football before then. Um, but I had played rugby in South Africa, kind of translated a little to football. So I started playing football 10th grade and ended up being a little better than that than I was at basketball. Um, Much to my dreams dismay, I had to give that up. And thankfully, while I was playing football at my high school in Charlottesville, Virginia, I was on the same team as another Tribe football alum, Brian Stinney. And Coach Corley at the time was recruiting Stinney and saw me. Luckily enough for me, he started recruiting me as well, kind of late in the recruiting journey. And yeah, I was lucky enough to get an offer. They took a chance on me, and I was able to find my way to William and Mary.
That's awesome. And you also cross paths with Coach Corley, who was our quarterback for most of my career. So that's awesome. I had hoop dreams early in my career, maybe high school, but they were like 5 seconds. So yeah,
You can relate.
football, yeah, football was pretty much my thing. Um, so tell us about, you get to William and Mary, you're there with one of your high school teammates. Tell us about your experience at William and Mary.
Yeah, so I was lucky to know well, not before getting recruited, but once getting recruited, I got to know about William Mary and obviously knew some people connected to the school. Um another person I went to high school with, Tasha Pai, she played basketball at William Mary, and I had that connection. And coming in, I knew someone who was already there. And then Brian Stenny, obviously, we came in together. So he was my freshman roommate. We got to experience the tough hardships of coming to college together, which was it was helpful to have someone there, who you knew from before. But um it kind of put us in a different spot. Um we weren't in like the typical athletes dorms. So we were out in Tolliver, which was a ways away. And it kind of forced us to get to know people outside of the typical athlete community, which was pretty dope, I think. Learn how the other students, spend most of their time. And it was, I think, a pretty rewarding thing for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So after you played your last game, you hung up your cleats, so to speak. And tell us about your journey, after graduating William and Mary. And this is a good one. So I think folks are really going to like this.
For sure. So after graduating, um, I I was on a student visa, yeah, William and Mary, F1 visa, and only allows you to do just that, only be a student. You're not allowed to work on it legally. Um, so I didn't. And the only way I was able to was to get like a little extension. I got an extension of a year, did an internship here, and then also did like my first career experience at an ad agency down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then at the time, um, how the visa system works is your company has to sponsor you. So my agency threw my hat into the ring for the lottery, but I wasn't selected. So my visa expired and I had to go home. So
And
almost on
where
the verge of
exactly is
tears now.
home?
So home is South Africa.
Right.
Durban, South Africa on the East Coast on the beach. A lot different climate to here. Um, so yeah, dreams crushed. I got to go home now and started a pretty serious relationship with my now wife at the time. So we had to thug it out and do long distance while I was at home. So moved back home, moved to Cape Town, South Africa, and worked there in a similar capacity, still in advertising marketing, and did that for about 3 years. And at the time doing long distance. Thankfully, my wife's a teacher, so she gets her summers off and was able to come visit me at a
That's
couple months
awesome.
at a time while I was there. Eventually, she might say it took a little longer than it should have, but proposed, got married in South Africa, and then made my way back here in at the end of 2018 to start our life as a family here.
That's awesome. And so once you got here professionally, tell us about your journey once you got back.
For sure. So professionally, I think I feel as if I some of my experience didn't quite translate on an international kind of scale. Well, because I felt like, in order for me to get into the same level of job on this side, I probably needed to take a step back. So um, I felt as if I took a small step back in my career, but kind of a step back for to set yourself up for a better future. You know what I mean? So I did that and took a relatively entry level position at Geico in the marketing department. But as you know, Geico, when it comes to advertising and being at the forefront of marketing in the industry, they are kind of A1, right? So I was willing to take what I thought was a sacrifice at the time, but looking back now, I definitely locked up because the things that I learned there has really um, built 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 a strong foundation for where I am now.
Yeah. And where are you now?
So now, once after spending a couple of years at Geico, I moved on to Roku, the streaming device company, in still in a similar capacity on the marketing side. But prior to Roku, I was in a B2C role, whereas now at Roku, I'm in a more business to business marketing role.
So you're all marketing all the way through. That's awesome.
All the way through, which is funny because I was an economics major.
Right.
I always knew that I wanted to do marketing.
Mhm.
In my on my resume, I wouldn't say this, but I only got into the business school for a marketing minor while I had the economics major. But the classes there were amazing. Still remember Coach Professor Irving. I still do his um, March Madness brackets that he sends out every year.
Nice.
Um, so I think it ended up being okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
This has been a treat, Quincy. Anything you want to leave with folks?
Um, the only thing I would say is if you're a current student at William and Mary, definitely take advantage of um, networking while you are there. Get to know folks, not just on your team, on other sports teams, and not just on sports teams, but um, people who don't live the same lifestyle that you do and are non-athletes. I think it can provide you with a lot of insight and um, provide you with a network that once you graduate, you'll be very grateful to have.
Yeah, yeah, I echo that sentiment. I wish I had taken that a little more serious while I was in school. So I think that's
Absolutely.
excellent advice. Hey, Quincy, man, thanks again for your time and this opportunity. Hopefully I can connect with you soon and we can keep this thing going, man.
Of course, yeah. I'm in the DMV, so whenever you're around, please hit me up and we can connect.